Hi there. Do you want to buy stocks? More so, stocks in African companies? If yes, then you are at the right place because I want to share with you the 5 biggest stock exchanges in Africa. As you understand, most companies out there sell their stocks to the public through the regulated stock or security exchanges out there. And of course, in Africa, just like other countries out there, there are also securities exchanges and also stock exchanges, which facilitate this, in essence, assisting people out there on part of companies through purchasing their stocks. And if you talk about an individual unit, through purchasing their shares. Having said that, you are all welcomed to the Money Daily YouTube channel. My name is Afagza Sifunam. And by the way, I'd really appreciate if you can drop a like on this video for many more people out there to be able to access this awesome content. These are the 5 biggest stock exchanges in Africa. I'm going to list for you and then break them down with regards to their individual details. The very first one is the Johannesburg Stock Exchange in South Africa. At number 2 is Nigerian Stock Exchange in Nigeria. At number 3, we have the Casablanca Stock Exchange in Morocco. At number 4, we have the Egyptian Stock Exchange in Egypt. And at number 5, we have the Nairobi Stock Exchange in Nairobi, Kenya. Having said that, let's delve into the details of each to see what their valuation is and even what volumes do they push, right? So let's go to the first one, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange in South Africa. The Johannesburg Stock Exchange, abbreviated as JSE, is a stock exchange with value of 1.36 trillion US dollars. And of course, it is the largest in Africa. You know, its financial center is South Africa after relocating from previously downtown Johannesburg to Sandton in 2000. And is a supplier of primary market, secondary market, and post-trade and technical services. In essence, it's there to offer all the wide spectrum of anything related to securities in South Africa. And beyond that, it actually has 425 firms listed on it. That's how massive the Johannesburg Stock Exchange is. At number 2, we have the Nigerian Stock Exchange. You know, and it's number 2, and it has a volume of trade or value worth of 66.7 billion US dollars. You can see that huge gap. Johannesburg Stock Exchange has 1.36 trillion US dollars, and at number 2, Nigerian Stock Exchange has 66.7 billion US dollars. In essence, the entire value of the remaining 4 securities exchange in this list can't even reach half of the Johannesburg Stock Exchange, which is kind of insane if you think about it. That's the extent to which the Joburg Stock Exchange is developed. Speaking about Nigeria Stock Exchange is also an integrated market infrastructure in Nigeria, which also avails the multiple ownership forms of securities to people out there. You know, and it is exchange because Nigerian Exchange is a major trading and listing platform in Africa via its wholly owned subsidiaries. You know, the ownership is subsidiaries because the subsidiaries which make up the Nigerian Stock Exchange are the NGX Regulatory Limited, you know, and independent regulatory business called NGS Real Estate Limited, which is a real estate firm. And of course, this market is kind of interesting because it has 156 publicly traded firms. And of course, the Nigerian Security Exchange Index trade per year is over 21%, making it one of the best performing stock markets globally. Think about a return of 21% in initial investment. It's kind of insane, but guys, that is what the Nigerian Stock Exchange offers as the average yield on someone's investment, which by then makes it quite attractive because it is one of the stocks in the market in the world with the highest return on investment. And then at number 3, we have Casablanca Stock Exchange, which has a value of 65.3 billion US dollars. And of course, this Casablanca Stock Exchange is a stock market in Casablanca, Morocco. You know, the Johannesburg Stock Exchange and the Nigerian Stock Exchange are the 2 largest, and then this comes at number 3. And of course, also with these, it has securities listed from the country. And the good thing is that due to that agreement between the Arab nations, also has one of the best performing performances in the Middle East and North Africa region, the MENA region, And of course, I'll say it's Africa's thirdest largest bourse overall. As a result of changes that it made in early 90s, the exchange is now up to date with regards to everything happening in other exchanges globally, making it pretty competitive too, right? And a central market and a block trade market that facilitate block transactions are the two markets that are now on the CSE, which has established an electronic trading platform and is composed of both marketplaces. It has both the central and also the block trading markets. And of course, with these, it has 76 firms listed on the exchange, which actually is a good number, giving investors out there options with regards to what they need to invest in or even what they need to choose from, right? And then at number 4 is the Egyptian Stock Exchange. And the Egyptian Stock Exchange has a value of 35.72 billion US dollars. This stock exchange is in Cairo and Alexandria. And of course, both are part of the Egyptian market, which is Egypt's stock exchange. So we're talking about this exchange being in two cities in the country. And they are both governed by the same board of directors and make use of same infrastructure for trading, clearing, settlement, you name it. And of course, this is also a major exchange platform, which is actually one of the standard platforms out there in the MENA region. And this specifically, we're talking about when the pre-issued securities are finally made public in this exchange, investors are always required to sell them by the market price, which is a price that fluctuates based on supply and demand dynamics in the market, which actually also is a champion of free trade in the ecosystem and no regulations at all. And this is actually good because those fluctuations in demand and supply are what are going to make investors out there be able to make money or even on a bad day lose money, which is a good thing. And then the fifth stock exchange in the continent is Nairobi Securities Exchange, whose value is 17.19 billion US dollars. An important African exchange is headquartered in Kenya, Nairobi, and of course is one of sub-Saharan Africa's fastest growing economy, Kenya. And of course, this is actually one of the oldest exchanges in the continent because we're talking about its founding in 1954. Over time, it's been revolutionized, names has changed, but still is going strong. And we're talking about right now it having 65 businesses listed in the Nairobi Stock Exchange, which is actually has a market value of 17.19 billion US dollars, and is a key market because it also has all different kind of offerings out there. When we're talking about stocks, bonds, futures, you name it, it has all offerings available to investors for them to be able to make a decision with regard to what they want to invest in, what they want to jump in, which is making it pretty exciting, right? And as I look to close on this, you all need to understand that actually these Africa stock or security exchange markets are actually mature. Someone may think that they are young, but they are very mature. In fact, some of them have been in existence since 1800s. Yes, you heard it right. For example, the Johannesburg Security Exchange has been in existence since 1887. So we're talking about it right now having been in existence for over 135 years. Talk about, for example, the Egyptian Securities Exchange. It has been in existence since 1883. In fact, it is the oldest. And we're talking about it now having been in existence for almost 140 years, which is kind of insane if you think about it. And all of them are working together to see how to push forward the matters investing, people owning companies out there and so forth in the continent of Africa. These are the top 5 stock or securities exchanges in the continent of Africa. What do you think about these? Have you invested in any of these security or stock exchanges which I've listed here? If you have, share with us your experience down below. Which ones do you find good? Which ones have an average high return on investment at the end of the year? Also, which ones do you find easy to invest in? Because all of us understanding that there are multiple requirements out there for someone to invest in stocks or even securities of different companies out there in different security exchanges. Of course, these regulations could be a hindrance or a facilitator. So if you've jumped in any of these stock exchanges out there, which I've listed these top 5 in Africa, how do you find them? Which is the best to use? And also, which one did you find tedious? Thanks a lot for watching this video. I look forward to share with you other awesome videos next time. Bye bye and take care.